Evening. Can you hear us?
Hello.
That is the question. Can you hear us?
Can you hear us, Team Able? Can anybody hear us?
I do this every week. And I should
turned it on. Oops.
Evening, guys. Anybody there?
Evening all.
Well, I've come up. My stream is active, so I know that much.
Yeah, I've got it. Got Tom the Wargamer on mine saying hello. I don't know if you can hear me though.
Yeah, I got Flood and Painting saying hello, and I got Peter. He says he can hear us, so that's good. Well, you can hear me anyway.
Cool.
So that's
Cool. I assume everyone can
Hello?
hear me on mine.
Yeah, I got Flood and Painting saying hello. And what's Ken doing? He's going to disappear off on work, is he? Yeah.
Oh, just got someone who said hello from Oklahoma. Hello.
Oklahoma.
There we go.
Blimey.
No.
Yeah, they could hear us.
Yeah.
You reach long and far. You
Turn
do,
Dom
not
down a little bit. Turn Martin
Yeah,
down a
yeah.
little bit.
Oh dear.
There we go.
Okay, Miller's turned up, said evening. He can't hang around, but have a good night. That was
Thank
quick.
you.
Hello and goodbye. Thank you very much.
Yes, I am in pyjamas.
You in your pajamas?
Yeah, it's
Bloody
true I
hell,
am.
mate.
I've had a freaking hard week.
Oh my god! At least he's not wearing his friendly nightie. That's the main thing.
Oh,
Yeah,
Martin, that special gift that I ordered has been dispatched today from Canada.
Well, the one you're going to wear in the games.
Yeah, and the one I'm going to wear on the
Ah.
stream.
The YouTube.
Yeah.
Awesome. I haven't decided on one though. I'm torn. There's about 3 that I want. So
Just order all three.
I don't think I can justify buying 3.
I could.
Oh dear, what are you two
I got.
up to?
I could. Well, let me put it this way. I can justify it. I just don't know if I can justify purchasing it to other people.
Oh my lord.
Yeah, you see next week, Dom. I'll be on the stream with it, so there you go.
I don't think I want to be. I don't think I want to be.
Oh, I might even be here by Friday, mate. So I might even wear it to the game on Friday.
I'm mildly terrified now.
It's great, isn't it, Martin?
Well,
Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm the same, Steve. I'm completely terrified by what the hell these two have been cooking up between them.
Well, just great. That's all it is. But yeah, good evening, guys, and welcome to the Old Plastic Crack podcast. It's lovely to have you here with us this evening. And if my phone will stop making a noise, there it goes. So yeah, how do we want to kick off this week? Shall we talk about what we've all been up to?
well,
Why
no.
not?
Yeah. What have you been up to then, Steve?
Have a quick,
Oh, go on.
have a quick sound check. Oh, hang on a second, because some of the guys said you lot were all a bit quiet. So can you? Talk
Hello.
And then,
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Hello. I got Medieval Warriors saying he can hear clearly on my stream, but not on your guys. I don't think.
Hey, you should be able to hear on mine. I could hear me on mine. Unless I've turned you all down a bit. I don't know. Oh, someone's double talking.
That's me. That was me. I just turned it up for a second to check.
Evening, Steve. Evening all. Dressing up as a dwarf. No, not. No.
At least you now got the next one sorted.
Yeah, that's the next one. Yeah, but you can see what I've been doing in the background. I've been putting together some of that Kickstarter stuff. Dom, the old cardboard stuff.
Have you? Those cardboard buildings?
Yeah, I'll show them off in a minute. They are very nice, actually. Very nice indeed. They're a lot bigger than I thought as well, which is interesting because they will take up a mass amount of space, which is always good. Can't moan at that, but yeah, I'm looking forward to getting all that done. But so, what you all been up to then? What have you been up to, Martin? Or was I starting with Steve? I forgot.
You start with Steve. It's Steve's turn.
Go on, Steve.
I'll keep it short and sweet. Not a lot because that weather last week almost killed me.
It wasn't nice, was it?
No, I've mentioned it before, but I'm a pasty dude from the north. And I'm not built for this weather. It's not in my genetic makeup to enjoy that kind of heat. So I didn't paint much at all last week. So that's my update.
Well, that's fair enough. Honesty is the best policy. What about you, Dom?
Well, actually, I didn't do a huge amount this week, to be absolutely honest. I painted. I put a video up today of my Wargames Anonymous challenge units, which I actually knocked out in about 4 days, which was quite fun. Some Spanish Napoleonic dragoons, which were fun to do. They were some from our friend Dave at Offensive Miniatures.
Oh yeah,
lovely figures. Do love them. So I did them, and I did some Scythian horse archers. Actually, no, they're Parthian horse archers, and they're going to be part of my Oathmark army. So,
oh, very nice.
Other than that, I'm just working through some Russ Warriors at the moment.
Did you get any games in, Dom?
No games.
Swine.
I had two games this week. One of which was absolutely fantastic. The other one was forgettable.
Oh no! I wonder why it was so forgettable, Dom. Will viewers find out?
So viewers, what Ken is alluding to, he came up to my place again, and we went into the Garage of Doom, which is now cleared enough to at least get in and use the table again, and we played a game of Muskets and Tomahawks. First game he has ever played. And literally, I was just saying to the guys before we got on, literally the first turn he blew away virtually half of my British regulars. We were playing British against American War of Independence. The second card that came out the thing was he volleyed at extreme range, and he only hit 4 figures of my Grenadiers, who were the next in line to be chewed up.
Oh no!
And when you're firing a volley in Muskets and Tomahawks, you roll a d10 for each shot. Each figure that's in the it's like a shotgun arc. So for each figure that's in it,
Martin's gone.
Oh, we lost Martin. See, he's so disgusted by what you did. He threw 4 dice, ones and zeros every single dice. So he killed 4 of the blooming Grenadiers, bang, like that. So it was like, okay, this game is going to go well. However, it did finish out as a complete draw because he couldn't, literally, as the game turned to an end, he was that far from the final objective and the win. So that was good.
You just gave away your video.
And I also had a really good... Yeah, it's going to be on... I've started to edit today, so it'll probably go up over the weekend at some point. And I also had a really good game of sharp practice on Tuesday. So I actually had 2 games this week. It's really good. So had a game with my mate Jonathan around at his house, outdoor gaming, which was really... those 2 systems, sharp practice and Muskets and Tomahawks, I think.
I've got to admit, I very much enjoyed Muskets and Tomahawks. That was a very, very good game.
Yeah, because that was your first sort of game of black powdery type rules, wasn't it? So what did you reckon, Ken?
Amazing. Loved it. I can see why you enjoyed it so much. Very easy rules. I picked it up, didn't I, Dom? I already know most of the rules. It's pretty straightforward.
It's one of those really nice sets of rules that's really simple to learn, but there's enough nuances and challenges to make it interesting to play every game. You have to master the different things that's going on. So yeah, it's really good. It's a really good rule set. So,
yeah,
you did well. As much as I hate to say it.
And we got another game this Friday, haven't we? Hopefully.
I think so. Yeah, we're going to play again.
We can play whatever. Yeah. We give
it another shot.
Yeah.
You can't have that ridiculous. I have to say, you've got to bring your own bloody dice this time because you use my dice. Is there anything worse, guys, in wargaming than having somebody else use your dice and roll them unbelievably well? I mean, that's just the worst insult in the world, isn't it?
It's bloody hilarious.
You need a 1 and a 0. Bang, ones and zeros. You need 9 plus. Is the 10 okay? Yeah, I think so, Ken. It's like, oh, for God's sake. It's just like, oh, bloody hell. So, yeah, what a night that was. So, you're going to bring your own bloody dice next time?
I ain't got any D10s, mate. That's the problem.
Struggle then on a D6. Oh, dear.
Yeah, but no.
But no, it was good fun. It was good fun, and it is a good system. I would thoroughly recommend Muskets and Tomahawks too. Did you have your game, Martin? Because you were going to have a game.
No. Unfortunately, it didn't happen in the end. So it's probably not going to happen for a couple of weeks because my mate's on holiday now. So no, it didn't happen. So no, hopefully in a couple of weeks' time we will.
How dare he be on holiday when you want to play Muskets and Tomahawks?
No, it was my fault. We couldn't do the game. Basically everything just got a bit out of sync, and then by the time I was finished, there wouldn't have been any time to play a game anyway.
Oh no,
So
fair enough.
I didn't get a lot done, unfortunately.
Fair enough.
And Hayley's just said, "Don't ever use my dice on my thing," so she's logged on from the other room.
Just watch what you say, Martin. Watch what you say.
Don't use my 95th rifles and don't use my dice, is what she'll say.
That's all right. Someone in the chat's already. Someone in there, Michael Huxley's just said, "No, don't worry, Martin's dice work well for you." So, she's in a little chat in there.
Now, really good intel, and I thank GP. I don't know who GP is, but GP in my chat just came up and he said he'd heard from North Star that the Muskets and Tomahawks Napoleonic supplement is out this Christmas.
Ooh.
Now, and he says, will that replace our shop practice Napoleonic games, do you think? That's an interesting. I don't think it will because it's a smaller scale game, but it will challenge it. That's for damn sure. It really will. I know a couple of our guys who, well, if the club ever restarts, the club who absolutely love Muskets and Tomahawks and will play it over any other system now. So it's possible. It's very possible. Yeah, I don't know how good it is with cavalry and guns. That's the only thing. Where Sharp can just about handle that. So I don't know. Be interesting to see though.
You'll find
out.
The
other thing, I don't know. Yeah, we will because we will play it. But the other thing, sorry, completely. Well, if I forget about it, if anybody's interested, Saga.
Yes.
Anybody play Saga? Age of Hannibal.
Yes, I am excited about that.
Beginning of September, that's going to be fantastic. And did you see, Martin, on the video? They've got not just the normal Saga game, but they're calling it Saga Epic.
Yes, it's going to be massive battles, because obviously when you're in the Dark Ages, it's a bit scaled down anyway. I mean, obviously, you still, what we would call a large-scale battle probably wouldn't even still come close to those. But you're going to be able to field huge units, multiple activations.
So excited!
Once I find my elephants, they're going to go storming across the table. I'm really excited about it.
Oh dear!
When he finds his elephants.
When he finds them, yes. When he finds them.
I'm so excited about their Saga rules. That's going to be really good. The trouble is, there's so many bloody rule systems at the moment. I still haven't already got to grips with Infamy. Muskets and Tomahawks, Sharp Practice. We've got new Saga. I mean, geez, that's without even going to Command and Conquer or whatever it's called, and doing any bolt action or anything. Oh my God! I'm gonna have to be a full-time wargamer. That's all I can say. Can you can everyone go and give me money on Discord or something, and then not Discord. What's the other thing? Patreon. And
oh, look at that plug! Look at that plug right there.
Why not? Why not? I never do it anyway. Go on then. What have you been up to? Whipping my arse.
Yeah, I'm painting some 100 Years War. Finishing them off. I have my delivery through from the Perrys. Got how many archers are in front of me now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 archers I'm painting at the moment. Just going to finish that off. I've been building that terrain you can see in the background. I'll try and get one of the houses. There we go. So this is one of the houses from the battle system stuff. There's a video coming with all this.
Cool.
Take the roofs off. There is like furniture and stuff you can attach inside and stuff like that, but it's fully customizable stuff, and it comes on. Yeah, Dom's got his stuff there. But it's really nice stuff for like medieval sort of times, Martin, and yeah, it's very nice for that aspect. Trying to get the lake house down because that's like a really cool one. But these are only small stuff, but they do like pontoon stuff, and you could use it for. You can use it for both. You can use it for fantasy and medieval, but you can see with this one, this is like a lake house. So pontoon, bridge, and then you got the interior there. But you obviously there's furniture and things that you put in there that attaches to the wall, so you can pick up and move it all about, and it won't come loose.
Right.
But yeah, once it's together, it's a really cool system because with these clips you can make it bigger and you can build it how you want basically. But they give you
Yeah,
tutorials.
I've seen the post-apocalyptic stuff. That was really cool as well.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's really nice quality stuff. It's nice, thick card. It's not flimsy, but it makes some nice terrain. And like I say, we'll get some of that together hopefully and get playing. That'd be the nice thing. But yeah, apart from that,
Is it collapsible, Ken? Afterwards?
yeah, you can take it apart. Yeah, if you want to take it apart, but it just takes a while to put together, Dom. This is the thing. If you once you've got it together, ideally you want to keep it together.
Yeah, that's what I assumed, but I mean, on the adverts when they were talking about building it, when they were doing the Kickstarter for that, they were showing it being sort of chucked across the room and staying together, and it does look quite rigid.
Yeah, it does.
Together.
Yeah, it does. To be fair, I have tested it as part of the video, so it does stay together. So I was quite impressed with it, to be fair. But that's pretty much what I've been up to, apart from working my arse off last week, and yeah, nearly failing to even stop work last week. And yeah, what about everyone else? What about you, Martin? What you been doing?
I haven't done a great deal because it was so bloody hot.
Yes.
I mean, it was just ridiculous. The only thing I did was make that piece of terrain in response to your bloody video. Because once I'd started, even though about halfway through I was losing the will to live.
Still waiting on Dom's.
The stuff, it was just ridiculous. The stuff I was using, the modelling compound, was drying in my hands before I could get it onto the piece of scenery because it was so hot that I thought I've got to get this done because otherwise this is going to just keep going. So other than that, what have I done? I've been doing a bit of research, a bit of reading actually, just into medieval stuff and a couple of other things. Just sort of sat back a bit, and then I tried to sort out the stack of miniatures and to get in here and the sprues and sort of get on top of things. But then because I had that care package from Perry Miniatures arrive, that kind of put that all to one side. So
yeah, it was nice getting that
Very
Perry
decent
miniature
to
stuff.
Send that out to you, Martin.
sorry.
Very decent of them to send it out to you.
Yes, in exchange for my hard-earned money, which I just sent straight back to yeah.
Yeah, I got Henry to do as well, so I'm looking forward to doing Henry. That should be quite cool. Did you guys watch that video that I did about with the game, the video game, the Kingdom Come Deliverance? Have any of you actually watched it?
I didn't know it had actually gone live. I thought I just saw a post about you doing it.
No, it's live. Yeah.
And I will.
Yeah, it's 1403.
Okay.
So it's in the 100 Years' War sort of time period, and it is based in Bohemia. So
okay,
check it out. It's I'm gonna do the rest. I'm gonna do the whole game. It's a free roam basically, and I'm gonna play it like because you've got a choice really. You can either play it as you can get down like a man at arms sort of route and get all that sort of armor and stuff, or you can go archer and do archery and stuff and go light. But the thing is with the game is you are literally a blacksmith's son, so you know nothing about holding a sword and firing a bow, so you are absolutely shocking at it at the start of the game, and it takes so much practice to actually get good with it. So it doesn't just gift everything on the plate. You're not naturally born a good archer. You actually have to earn to be a good archer. So yeah, quite looking forward to that actually.
It does look a good game. I've got it, but I've just never had the time to sit down and really get good at it. Like you say, it's really challenging to play, and it's one of those games I think you have to invest a lot of time
Yeah,
to get any good.
yeah. Well, it's one of those games as well because it's kind of historical and stuff as well. Well, it is historical. It's not kind of. If you're a bit burnt out from painting or stuff like that, you can still do stuff within the period you're doing, or within wargaming. It might give you ideas and may want you to paint miniatures, as well. That's another reason.
Got you.
Sure,
Say hello to a few people in the chat here. So I've got, I'm going right to the top. Peter Little, hiya mate, how you doing? Culloden, hiya mate. Paul Richardson, he's in
Paul.
the chat. So
Hey,
Lupus Canis, hiya mate, how you doing? Leslie, hiya Leslie.
You're right, Leslie.
Hi, Leslie.
So Lupus says he's just finished 6 battalions of Prussian infantry and starting on the cavalry now. Oh my goodness.
That's the next. That's the next period. Will be Napoleonics in 28 mil.
Is that what are you doing that for, Lupus? Is there any particular army, any rule system that's for? Oh, and Leslie happily points out one lost one for us. Apparently, Ken. That's probably about right.
Yeah.
Modelling for Advantage, he says, evening lads, can't stick around, and he's gone, but he watched the replay. Oh yeah, when you get to the replay.
Watch your
What else we got here? GP just mentioned him talking about the new Muskets and Tomahawks rules. Leslie's pointing out the fact that Infamy, Richard from Lardy's put up a tutorial video today on their channel, which I really, really want to watch because I think I need to learn the rules better. It's hard. It's a hard system to pick up, Infamy.
Yeah, but is that an off put? Is that an off put for you, Dom? Because you say
at the moment, the problem is I've got so many rule systems on the go. It's hard, when you've got to really spend a bit of time learning them. It is a little bit of a put off. Although I love ancients, so I don't know. I will play again, but I just would like to feel a bit more comfortable with the rules. It was the most satisfying game we played the other time, I have to say.
That's fair enough, isn't it? No, that's it. So, got to enjoy it, yeah.
Whilst I do like to win. I'd like to have a better game than just winning for the sheer hell of it. And it was a very, very one-sided game we played, Alec and I, which was a shame. So we'll see, but it'd be nice to. I think they've, judging by the comments I've seen on the forums about Infamy, I think I don't know. Reading between the lines, it appears that they've sort of misjudged how difficult the rules are to master. There's too many things that they assumed people would just get, and they haven't.
Yeah.
Because literally, you go on the Facebook page and there's question after question about when you're doing this, what does this mean, and da 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 da. And I'm thinking, yeah, they're all really valid questions. You always get stupid questions about every rule set. Things you think, well, don't you actually read the rules? It's very clear what that says. But some of these questions, you think, do you know
well, no, that's a good point. Yeah, sort of thing. Yeah.
So
Dom, do you think people? Dom, do you think people were expecting just an ancient version of Sharp Practice?
I think that's very true. Yeah, I think that's very true. I think, I think that's partly the case. I think, and it isn't. It's a familiar system if you play Sharp Practice, but it's so different that if you try and play it like Sharp Practice, you'll get it all wrong. Yeah, I think that is part of the problem. Really, you have to forget all the Sharp Practice or the chain of command and move on to learning Infamy. Yeah, it's weird. It is weird, but I think in there's a core of a really good game if you can get to it.
Tease it out.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to be hard on it because I literally have played one game, but I'm just looking at other people's comments and videos that people have talked about, and I think, it's clearly not as easy as you think it is.
Mm.
Where something like Muskets and Tomahawks, or even that Oathmark that we played, Ken, literally within half an hour reading the rules, you could play a game and have a good game.
Yeah, you just pick it up, can't you?
You couldn't do that with Infamy. You really couldn't. Well, you could, but it wouldn't be a good game because you get all the rules wrong. Which might be a good game if you're happy with it, but But I think it's going to be interesting.
I'll tell you one thing. I'll tell you one thing I did forget to mention. I bought a 6mm army.
Tell the truth. You didn't just buy one 6mm army, did you?
No, I didn't. I bought 2. I bought both sides, didn't I? You got to buy both sides of the American. I got ACW's American Civil War. Got it from Backer 6mm. They opened their cart up for a short period of time, and I was like, yeah, I think so. I think now's the time, and the time was then, and it has been purchased. And I look forward to playing 6mm with you, Dom, and you, Martin, and you, Steve, at some point. Game is a game, isn't it? We shall.
There we go. I've got some backers here. Hang on. There you go. Look, I don't even know why I'm trying. There we go. Look, right there. It's some little ACW.
Oh, you got some ACW. Oh, you got ACW as well. What did you get?
I just bought. I was deciding between 10mm and 6mm and what I wanted to do. So I got like the sorry, I just had a message from Haley. She's I don't know if you guys have ever done this. In a bid to get Haley into the Wars of the Roses and understanding it, we've been watching that the White Queen series that came out, which is based on the Philippa Gregory book, and it's obviously it's not much to do with the war. It's quite oversimplified in places, but generally the main points are there. And we've been watching it, and and I knew that she hadn't twigged who the prince is in the tower, and that Richard is Richard III. And I was sitting there because I was like, I know she knows who this is because I rabbit on about it all the time. So and she's just realised it's just shit, and now she's coming over here to have a go. She's just told me she's just read about it, and it's not really just giving herself the Henry Tudor spoiler, but it's not really a spoiler. Well, it is for you, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's sort of already happened, doesn't it? So
yeah. Well, yeah. She keeps on asking me, going, just kept on asking me. It's like this Tudor bloke. Is that that happens, right? Like, yeah, that's gonna happen. I don't think she's very happy about it.
You are storing up another world of hate, Martin. When a world of pain for when she plays you the next game.
This is all I get because I'm just going to get beaten at war games. I've got Leslie in the comments telling me that I should play her at Muskets and Tomahawks, but and that's an idea. I think there's a couple of people in here I should probably say hello to. It's gone. Oh God, it's gone a bit. Tom the Wargamer says hello. The Epic Joey, and I said we've got Bootsy from Oklahoma watching, and Yannick from Krakow.
Krakow.
Ewan and Aaron Lowe. Wow, there's those. Medieval Warrior was here. I don't know if he's still here. Someone called Haley, but I don't know who she is. And then she's got to still. And then Leslie's suggesting that I should play her. Dragon's Thrall. King Matt, he's here as well. And Liam's here. But the different Liam. The other Liam. Cambridge Liam. And Andy is here as well. He's going off to a 6mm Revelation. And what's your favourite scale to play? And is it the same as your favourite scale to paint?
I like painting 6mm. I think it's so easy to paint. I've always thought it's easy to paint because you haven't got to be so detailed with it. I hate painting 28mm. I hate it.
Really?
Yeah, I hate it. It's just too much detail. I wish
that's why I like painting 15mm. It's that sweet spot between sort of 6 and 10 and 28. So you've got you can fly through and paint 10, 15, 20 at a time, but you're not going to be that focused on detail. So you can like my chain of command airborne. I painted an entire platoon in a couple of days just by just batch painting, inking or washing, and very little highlights. But yeah, sweet spot
Yeah.
painting for me is 15 mil. Love it.
Yeah, I gotta admit, I'm going through all these archers at the minute, and I'm doing them batch paint one bit by one bit, and I'm like, they're not getting any more paint on. I should. I wish they were done by now.
What about you, Dom? What's your favourite scale to paint?
28. I like
Yeah.
28. I was just thinking, I honestly, in however many 30 plus years of wargaming, nearly 40 years of wargaming probably, I have never painted a 6mm army.
Oh dear, Dom, you shouldn't have said that.
So,
Christmas is coming up.
Years ago, I bought a French Napoleonic army 6mm from Bacchus, and
yeah.
I think I painted. It might have been 10 or 20 strips, and I put them away in a bag and never looked at them ever again.
You still got them?
I don't know what it was. It just, oh God, I don't know where they are. When I moved here in 2011, I threw so much stuff out. I threw out 3 Flames of War armies. I just had the space. I just had to be a bit ruthless when it came to just getting rid of stuff. So
there's a bit ruthless.
I know.
They took the chop, did they, mine?
I wouldn't mind trying painting 6mm again, or at least having a go, because my painting has changed a lot since trying though. Because that must have been about 2006 as well. So I imagine now with the painting techniques that I use, I reckon I could fly through 6mm.
Yeah.
See, we're always going like smaller. The thing is, I was thinking about potentially going the other way. Because I was looking at those 45mm ones on the Perry site, the Napoleonics and the. Have you seen them?
Yeah, but they cost an arm and a leg.
They're £4.50. They're not that.
Each.
Not that much.
Each. You need how many do you need for a battalion?
Yeah, but I'm not going to make a battalion. I was actually thinking about when the muskets and tomahawks Napoleonic thing came out, about just scaling it and having it sort of instead, activating one person at, or playing something instead of activating a unit, you activate one. They're just very cool. They are very nice, but yeah, really detailed. So I wouldn't be able to hide like I'm doing at the minute, like where I can see that I'm going to be able to just hide this little bit of armor that I can't be bothered to paint. I wouldn't be able to do that. I'd actually have to make sure that I do everything.
Yeah, that's what puts me off. I mean, I see people, some guys who also, when they're painting figures, they'll do these wonderful busts and beautiful big scale models, and I just think, oh my goodness, I mean, it really does show up your painting, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That kind of scale figure. But yeah, I mean, I think the only thing I was tempted by, there was that rule system, Second World War skirmish system 148, and they have a range of.
Yes, that looks really, really interesting.
That would be fun, wouldn't it? And I think Second World War larger figures would be quite easy to paint because there's not so much detail, and you only need like 5 or 6 figures aside. So that appealed, but I don't know.
Yeah, especially
because of Pen, I nearly did the same thing. You told me Bacchus was open, and I was so many times there was armies in my checkout, and each time I came away like a good boy. I didn't do it for once. Instead, I'm going to bought a whole lot of 28mm for my next project that I'm going to work on, even though I've got countless millions of bloody 28s ready to be done.
Oh dear.
And I'm not going to tell you what that is yet because I'm ashamed. Frankly.
And I'll keep my mouth shut.
Oh yeah, no, oh shit. What about you? Have you ever done 6mm? Oh, you've just shown us those 6mm, Martin. So...
They're only from. I haven't got any armies. They were just from a tester pack. I was playing around with. I've got I've got a 10mm set and a 6mm set. So I was trying to decide what scale to do when I eventually do it. And I've got somewhere some. I was going to do 15mm ancients. I bought some Forged in Empire Celts. Some Gauls and that, and that just never went anywhere in the end. I have a 15mm, two 15mm 30 years war armies, and I have 15mm Germans for Flames of War. So I don't know. I just like 28. I enjoy, after doing all these Wars of the Roses and all the Napoleonics, I like having massive armies in 28mm.
While I remember,
Yeah.
because I will forget mine. Do you know those mats you were telling me about?
Oh yeah,
You know they were looking for a UK distributor.
is it you?
No. They have got one. There is
Yeah.
there is a UK one,
Yeah.
and he's getting some more in stock very soon.
All right, please send me the link.
Yeah, because I want to buy two.
What, so you can make a 14 by 10-foot table?
Yes. Well, no, two different ones. I want the teddy bear fur and the other one, and the grass one.
Oh, the static grass one and
Yeah,
that one.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah,
yes.
Wargames Illustrated were doing a review of them.
Yeah,
I saw that on their channel.
Yes, because they're War Games Illustrated. They get everything. Git.
Someone's just asked, and I was going to ask Steve as well. They want to know if you've changed location because your camera's pointing a different way.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I've just moved the camera. Same place. I've moved about 14 inches in front of me.
You haven't got to bend over as much then, Steve, have you?
Same place. Still under my lamp. Still sweating bullets. But apart from that, no. Yeah.
Love it. I do. It's funny though. I mean, talking about scales again. I do like 15mm. I've got quite a lot of 15mm figures. But I don't like painting them very much. But I just think what I do like about them is on the, being able to do some really big battles without having to take up a huge amount of space.
Yeah, that'd be cool for ancients, like like Martin was saying earlier, wouldn't it? It would be pretty cool for ancients. You can understand why people do that with chariots and all that sort of stuff. Or even even crusades.
All the time, ancients and Napoleonics, and it was great because you could, like you say, I think I told this story a couple of times, but back in the early days of Salute, we put on a demonstration game, big game of classical Indians against Macedonian troops, and it was like I forget the size of the table. I think it was about 10-foot by 4-foot table, something like that. And we had, I think, about 50 or 60 elephants on it, thousands of pikemen and bowmen and all this sort of stuff. And we really thought that we did put on this. Well, it was supposed to be a demonstration game, and then it turned into a participation game because there was only 3 of us running it, and we were so knackered we just wanted other people to help us. So it was great fun. It did look stunning, sort of that number of figures on a table, just brilliant. Although, to Martin's point, it would have been better in 28mm, but I think I would have needed a whole new mortgage for that.
Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it? That's one of the dramas of 28mm, but
I think they've come down in price a lot by comparison to certainly what they used to be. I mean, the availability of plastic figures, but even metals, I don't think as quite as crazy priced, certainly for ancients and Napoleonics as they once were.
Yeah, well, yeah, I got Henry the Fifth and 5 other figures. I think it was £9, and two of them are mounted. Two are mounted, and you get the just the standing as well. So you get both, which is really good. So you got like 8 models for £9.50, and they're really detailed as well. So yeah, you can definitely see they are a bit cheaper. Yeah. So what about so for rule sets for 6mm? Because obviously these rules come with I think is it Poemas? Begins with a P.
Oh, yeah, the one on the back of sight.
Yeah. I can't remember the actual name. But
I mean, you can adapt whatever. I mean, you can use black powder for.
Yeah, Rick Priestley's done some Hell Caesar modifications for Bacchus's website to say, this is like a 6mm version of Hell Caesar you can use.
Yeah, you can do the same thing. I've got an ACW game called Pickett's Charge that I bought to do it. I got that off. Yeah, the Lardy site.
I think Lee from the Battle Bunker. I think that's his favourite ACW rule set.
Yeah, it's
Right.
pretty.
Right. Yeah.
It does look pretty good. I think that would. I was impressed when I read through it. That would be. It looks quite cool.
You're gonna have to play some ACW, mine.
I know. There's a lot. There's a lot to play.
There's
There's a lot of games to play. But someone's just said, which I think might be one of the best questions I've ever seen. If you guys don't mind, it's very short.
Yeah, go on.
What paint range tastes the best?
We're all paint thingies, aren't we? We all do it.
Like I said the other week. Let's have a look. Let's look at my spice rack, shall we? This is Vallejo burnt umber. I can pretty much accurately tell you that this stuff doesn't taste very nice. I thought I'd dip the brush in the water, and I hadn't, and so I just put a loaded brush straight in my mouth. I do these things so you don't have to.
I've done it with flat brown, but not burnt umber.
But that thing is, it smells lovely. Burnt umber smells. It's like such a nice smelling paint. It's like, do you know those shops? Remember, I don't know if they're still open. Those shops, Lush, sell all the soap and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I used to just want to go in and start eating soap because it always smelled so nice. But I know it tastes absolutely rank. I think the same was with Vallejo paints as well.
Yeah.
Like, I'm quite partial to the Tamiya stuff. That's got a very a very sweet smell. I think it's like a.
You're definitely a model.
Killer.
You're definitely a model maker. Got Tamiya. I've got army paint.
Well, yeah, I use the clear paints when I'm doing coloured armour.
Okay.
I've got a chocolate brown. Do you think it does taste like chocolate?
Give it a try. The contrast paints, I've tried all the contrast paints. They're not too bad. It's like the Agros Dunes. Yeah, it's not too bad.
Have you ever done that thing where you paint? You have a really good painting session. We're talking 3 or 4 hours, and you get up and you just go to the bathroom where you see a mirror and you've got paint all over your face.
Yeah, I've done that before.
Yeah.
I've done that before and gone out, and Laura's not told me. And then I only realised when I get home, and she says, "Oh, you got paint on you." Cheers, love. Thanks for that. So I've got a really bad habit as well. If I'm wearing shorts, okay, just below my left knee, to like twist the brush, I put it into my leg and just twizzle it back, and I end up with like loads of different coloured strips down my leg, like war paint.
It's really bizarre.
It's really random, but it's so weird. You'll see me doing this occasionally as well. So I'll get the brush and I'll go like that. You'll see me do that. So I've got loads of like trousers, like pajama bottoms that have just got paint marks all over them. Don't know why. It just seems to give me the perfect tip.
Do you know what one of my strangest painting rituals is? If I'm batch painting, I have to paint them in the same order.
Oh yeah, mate.
So if I'm
start on that guy.
Figures, yeah. They will stay in that order until they're based. It sends me a bit funny if I knock them out of alignment.
Yeah. I understand where you're coming from, Steve.
Oh my God.
See, there's a painting thing we can agree on, Steve. We can agree.
Exactly, yes.
We can agree on that.
Ken, did you watch Steve's last video this week?
No, I haven't seen it yet. Why?
I just think you should go and watch it. I don't really want to spoil it for you.
Am I going to swear?
It's the second, not the last one, but the one before that. It was about wargaming questions.
Oh no!
There's one big question, Ken. There's one big question.
To base vehicles or not to base vehicle?
He's gonna look at God.
I'm not gonna fucking fall for it. Don't make me mad. I've had a good week. No, so far. Please don't ruin it. I was on call last week.
Well, From that, there was a good question. Jim from Mary Hinge. Do you paint the underside of your tanks?
Yeah, base
Sort
coat.
I don't,
A base coat. My,
I don't bother because mine's a base, so it's fine. Don't need to.
your tanks are not based. They're not all based, are they?
They are now. They are now. I do it to annoy you.
I base
why I
coat
want
and
to
put a
play
dark
Wargaming.
wash on it, and that's about
Yeah,
it.
that's about it. I don't
I
go.
used to have like a oil spray. I can't remember what company made it, but it was it was like it was an ink, and it didn't actually have aerosol. It was weird. It was, but you just spray it, and it just looked like oil. It would just then get that nice separation, you know, like the rainbow. I used to just spray the bottom of my tanks with that. It looked
Yeah,
quite cool. But
it's easy with an airbrush, isn't it? Though as well, painting a tank with an
Yeah.
airbrush, it's pretty straightforward. You can just put a prime coat down, and it's all right, you know. But
what about you, Steve? What do you do with it?
It's left bare. It's mostly bare plastic or resin. It was like when I was making that bloody the Puma set, and
Oh,
the Puma set from Warlord has got the most overly complex, convoluted
oh,
like
don't mate.
axle and suspension system. And I was sat there. I was doing it for 15 minutes, and I thought, no one's going to see this because I'm sticking it on a base in about 10 minutes time. And I wasn't rightly happy then.
No, do you know the other
Honestly, just
that Puma that I've got from Warlord is near enough all the wheels are magnetised now because they've snapped so many times. I've magnetised them all.
Well, if you had it on a
I've
base,
only used
Ken,
my-
it wouldn't be a...
Fuck off.
yeah,
Tom.
that yeah, it wasn't. It's a good idea. I've only ever used my Puma once. It got knocked out in the second turn by a Japanese tank.
Really?
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yes, it was very embarrassing.
Yeah, I was going to say they're a load of old shite.
I think it's a good question. Though. I think my tanks are just whatever I base painted them, base sprayed them, because I tend
Yeah.
to roll them over just to make sure that I've got everything covered properly. So while I'm there, I'll just do the bottom with them. But that's
Yeah.
it, really. I don't think there might be a bit of
I tell you
drippage
what
from or whatever.
I tell you what was interesting in the comments to that video. Just hearing about what other people do. So some people base tanks or don't base tanks and vehicles, but they will do with artillery and like 2-3 man teams. Some people like me base everything. Some people don't. They'll only base infantry and that's it. So it was really interesting just getting a take from the community on what their views on kind of mass basing.
Yeah. Well, at least the sensible people said they don't base vehicles. That's... Oh, dear.
Actually, that comes to a question. Somebody was asking. Was that you, Martin? You were asking a question
Oh,
about
yeah.
multi-figure
It was Miller. Hang on, I can't remember exactly what he said. 1 second. He sent it.
He said,
to
Ken,
me.
you're such a legend, and I wish I watched your channel all the time instead of Martin's, but he does black powder, and I can't watch yours because you don't do black powder.
He said, would you use a multi-based army in a game system that needed individual-based figures, such as Infamy, and give them wounds rather than move, taking off models? Or would you be comfortable playing a game with someone else that did that, or does it take away something from the game? So yeah, would you be happy playing against someone who's multi-based, and you haven't? I mean, in a game where you're doing figure removal.
Oh, yeah.
personally, doesn't.
Nah, it don't really bother me, but it'd take away from the enjoyment a little bit, I guess. Just a tad. 'Cause it's nice to have.
It's just a bit of increased bookkeeping or housekeeping. For me, that's all it'd be. It's why it wouldn't bother me at all, really.
Yeah.
No, I'm the same. It wouldn't bother me in the slightest. I mean, the game I played on Tuesday with Jonathan is French, a multi-based largely, and so when in playing sharp practice, you individual casualties and what have you. So all we did was because I think his were in fours. So when 4 were dead, he'd take the 4 out. But up to that point, we'd either use a dice or I've got some little plastic hoops, some little plastic rings, and we just put 'em over the heads of the figures that
Yeah.
are dead. It's not difficult, really.
No.
I don't
See, I
push
just,
myself.
I think it's the same. I just use little red counters or casualty markers if it's Napoleonics because I've got loads of them. So I just chuck them down, and I think, that looks. Yeah, I think it wouldn't bother me at all. To be honest,
I'm the
not
only
if I
one.
agree.
I'm the only one.
You're the only one again.
Of course. What a surprise.
So when we want to wind you up, Ken, we need to go multi-based and
Multi-base
base
tanks.
Oh, multi-based. He'd have a complete meltdown, wouldn't he? That'd be hilarious. Look at his face. Brilliant. Love it.
Why? Just
Oh, my
what?
goodness.
Why? Just why do you... Oh, don't get me started again. Oh dear,
I love it.
dear. Look, I'll tell you what though,
Yeah.
Dom. I'm not joking. I am very much looking forward to Friday. Coming up and playing that rule set again because we keep saying it, but I'm not gonna lie. I've played a lot of bolt action and things, but that rule set, how the way it played, even though I had a really good game, that's probably one of my favourite rule systems I've played. It's so simple.
That's good to hear.
It really is good. And I'll tell you what, if you can do it with all different periods and stuff, so you're gonna be able to do it with, you say Napoleonics?
Yeah, Napoleonic's next, and then I think they're moving through to. I think they're going to do American Civil War as well.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
This is gonna sound really stupid, right? Why is the Napoleonic period different to the American War of Independence? Don't they all use muskets?
Oh, you're going to really upset some people.
I'm a novice. Help me out, please.
So ostensibly, yes, they're very similar, and there isn't that much difference really. But the tactics, the massed formations are different. I mean, and also the scale of the battles. You think Napoleonic battles were
Huge.
Huge battles, whereas in the American War of Independence was pretty tiny. Even the big battles were pretty tiny. So yeah, I mean, I mean, most rule systems, if you look at Black Powder and stuff like that, and Sharp Practice, they will cover both periods with the same rule set.
Okay.
And the purists, everything will sniff at that and go, ooh. But there's not a huge amount of difference.
Because it's like the same for the American Civil War and stuff. Obviously, they were using muskets, but am I right in saying towards like the end of the war and stuff, you were getting self-loading rifles and things like that as well, weren't you? Getting repeaters, carbines and stuff, Winchester repeaters, weren't you?
ACW, definitely. I mean, that was all, rifle barrel artillery and rifles, much more common in production. It was only very early on they used muzzle loaded, although I think the Confederacy carried on using them quite a long time because of supply problems and what have you. But that's a different. I mean, that's why if you've ever seen the footage from. Have you ever seen the pictures? Real life pictures of the after effects of Pickett's charge. Some famous photographs of it, and it's just the most harrowing thing you've ever seen in your world because that's modern weaponry being used with Napoleonic style tactics, and it's just carnage, absolute carnage.
Yeah,
I mean that's the thing. It's completely different. Napoleonic troops would train completely differently. So the whole thing was, as Dom said, is totally different. I'm just seeing if you've upset anyone on my comments. Yep, you have. Yeah, I am. Got to, but I am severely upset. I'm mad. Brilliant.
I apologise.
One of those is so it's fine.
I apologise is all I can say because I am a noob to the period. So be nice to the people that are new to the periods and don't know because everyone's got to start somewhere.
In basic terms, weapons are not that different.
No,
let's be honest.
No, that's what I thought. So I'm gathering the tactics are different. That's what I was gathering. Is I gathered the tactics were kind of different and. Yeah, exactly. It's like when I started these medievals out. To me, I always thought a crossbow at a shorter range than a longbow. Am I right in saying that? Because every book I've listened to, apparently the crossbow outranged the longbow. So I'm even more confused. So which way round is it?
That's questionable, really.
It's about
Don't
effective
think it's very
range, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because by the time
exactly.
by the time a crossbow's at the end of its range, it is like died out, isn't it? It's dipping
Yeah.
completely, isn't it? And I can
A
imagine
longbow, you are at range, but you'd have to elevate it so much.
you're coming
hit
down
that
at
range.
literally coming on your enemy's head, aren't you? Like at that sort of angle. It ain't gonna. It's
Precisely.
not gonna pierce armor, is it? At that sort of angle.
Well, it would if it hit it in the right place, but the chances are pretty slim.
Yeah, you're looking for a gap.
I mean,
So
there's that whole argument about how effective the longbow really was, as a penetration weapon, and I think most historians now think that this is more Martin's area than mine, but I think most historians agree that it was more of an impact weapon.
Yeah.
It hit the soldiers and hit the French so hard that it knocked them off their feet, and actually rarely penetrated, unless it was very close range. So it was just the fact that that ability to, having repeatedly hitting a knight
it's a
with an
psychological
arrow,
thing as well, isn't it? It's
bang, bang,
Yeah.
bang, 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 wearing them out.
Yeah. Again, the problem is that when they do these experiments, they're using one longbow and they're firing against one breastplate. And
They're not using
then you've got,
5,000.
but you've got to imagine 5,000 that are firing however many shots a minute that they can get off, and then behind this one breastplate, there's a whole bunch of other guys that might not be wearing. They might be wearing leather armor, padded leather. They've got different heads for the arrows, depending on what they want to do. But yeah, broadly speaking, I think the shock of getting knocked off your horse, let's say at Agincourt, and then drowning in mud, is more of the sort of because they feared it, didn't they? The longbow. It was that was it was a psychological.
Here's another question:
I mean,
why did the French never
important.
take it up? There's a question.
That's a simpler one. I think that's an easier one. It was more about the training. So in England, England adopted it from the Welsh largely, as I understand it, and it became a law in England that you had to train the longbow.
Isn't that still a law, or is that a myth?
No, it was a law. It was an actual law, and that's why a lot of villages have a village green, because it was where the archery butts were set up, and you practiced at the weekends, and it was a requirement for them to everybody to train. And if you didn't train from birth, virtually as a longbowman, you couldn't hope to develop the skills or the strength to be able to pull sort of poundage of bow that they used. So it wasn't a question of just suddenly going, "Oh, I'm going to be an archer" in your age of 20s or whatever. You had to have trained at it from very early on to be good at it. And it wasn't that easy for the French. They did have longbow in their army, but they were mainly mercenaries, I think, and there weren't many of them. And crossbow is a really easy tool.
Anyone can use a crossbow.
Anybody can fire a crossbow. You just point and shoot, basically. You don't need strength, and they developed these really clever ways to reload them that made it dead simple. If you look at, I think it was the Italian states, all their militia, all their city-state militia were given crossbows because it was dead easy. You just say, "Here's a crossbow." But you pull that trigger, and you point it that way. You pull that trigger, and boom, it's done.
Happy days.
With the longbow, you had to, 15, 20 years before you could do what you needed to do.
Be competent, yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, sorry.
Oh, that's all right.
On a history.
Did Peter Little send you a question this week?
It did. I've got one from Leslie and I've got one from Peter.
Fantastic.
So
good stuff.
Let's have a look at this. So Peter's little question of the week is: how much is historical accuracy important in wargaming, and is the lack of accuracy part of the reason why Warhammer is so popular? In other words, you can paint Warhammer, Oathmark, Saga, and others in colours of your choice, and there's absolutely no rules apart from things like Space Marine chapters. Interesting. I mean, I guess we're all mainly, well, no, you guys do fantasy stuff as well, but is the fact you have to. I guess he's probably getting to the point of, is fantasy and science fiction always going to be more popular because it's one of those sort of, oh, you've got to do it this color and you've got to have that color button on these.
I don't know. You've never met certain 40k players. There's a specific shade of black that you must choose.
Well, he did put the caveat apart from Space Marine chapters. So
yeah, but then again, Games Workshop have thought of everything because they give you a option of there's, I think it's 20 chapters in it, so there's 20 chapters, or is it 20, but then there's one of them, or there's a chapter that's classified, so it's create your own basically, so anything goes, so you can have whatever you want. Right. I'm looking at a Space Marine chapters poster actually. There's a lot. But yeah, no, I think it's more interesting because it's, it's, I don't know, it's sci-fi just appeals to younger people, doesn't it? Just always has. Growing up,
Yeah.
When I growing up and stuff like that, I love my Star Wars. I didn't, I wasn't 15 and thought, oh, I wonder what Waterloo's going on. History's what you learn about in school. No, I don't know. It just seems actiony, doesn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, when I started gaming in sort of the early 90s, mid 90s, it was a sort of mix at our games club. There was one week we were playing 40k, and the next week we'll be playing a historical. No, it was not normally this Vietnam game we used to play. So I was always exposed on a weekly basis to a mixture of sci-fi, fantasy, and historicals. But I always preferred the historicals. And when I sort of got back into gaming in about 2004, it was all largely historicals. The only fantasy I really play these days is Blood Bowl. That's it. But everything else is pretty much historicals. But the painting thing, yeah, I know. I can certainly see why that would put certain people off, especially when it comes to Napoleonics. I've heard some horror stories about people's Napoleonics.
Yeah. No, I can imagine.
I actually almost get twitchy trying to paint fantasy figures because I don't have a unicorn to follow. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I'm so used to doing historical figures, and I'm like, and I sort of know roughly, while I won't be complete button Nazi. I'm not going to get so worked up about every last color scheme, but I'll try and make them roughly, accurate. But then when I get to do fantasy, like I'm doing these Russ now that I'm going to be using as part of my fantasy army, and I'm just sort of almost trying to come up with random ideas for colours, and I find that really hard.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I know. If I were a traditional Dark Age army, I'd know I'd use lots of dark colours and lots of browns and a bit of reds and all those kind of things. But it's fantasy, so I could use pink if I wanted to.
Yeah.
But I won't because it's weird, and I find that quite awkward.
It's like the opposite for you, sort of thing, isn't it?
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, no, it's understandable. You have got, sometimes it can be a bit more creative juices and stuff, and I used to want to paint it like the box. I think when you first start anything, you want to paint it like the box art. And yeah, I wanted to do it like that, but nowadays it's since doing these medievals, it's opened my eyes that there are so many different shades of colours, and everyone could be wearing a different shade. And maybe planning as well, maybe plan out my colour schemes a bit better. So like before I just jump straight into a project, maybe plan what I actually want them to look like in future. Because I'm really happy with all these. See, I can imagine some people would go mental if they saw my 100 Years War Army, because I've got about 9 or 10 different shades of blue, 9 or 10 different shades of yellow, different shades of red, nothing is uniform. I have purposely done it not uniform. And I'm sure there's people out there that will go mental about that. But in my eyes, in history time, that's what it would be like. No one's stuff would be the same, really, because it would all be dirty one day, and this Dupont could be made in this place, like we've had discussions before. So I think this has helped my fantasy sort of style, because I'd still want to paint them uniform, which is really weird when you think about it, because they don't have to be.
Oh, it's a funny one, isn't it? I mean, it's interesting from. It was really interesting to watch all those videos that people were doing about I'm a wargamer and how they got into the hobby and what have you, and it was kind of two very sort of broadly two themes I thought coming out of that. There was the old timers who kind of were massively into military history and they loved all that and they went into wargaming as an outlet from that. Then maybe via Dungeons and Dragons, various other things, Tolkien type things, or what have you. And then there tend to be younger guys who largely went via 40k, some sort of games workshop, and then moved talking about the historical side here, then moved into the historical side from there. And it got me thinking something somebody was saying on a stream I was 2 weeks ago. They were talking about how difficult and how almost welcoming periods of historical hobbying can be to newcomers into that hobby. Particularly Napoleonics was the example being used. That if you were a newcomer to the period where you hadn't had all that background stuff because you had it all when you were in school and you weren't interested in it as a kid, and you come out at 40k and you went, oh, I'm fascinated by Napoleonics, and you go on some of these forums and say, what do I do? Can someone help me? And people aren't the most welcoming sometimes around that.
No.
Weird, isn't it?
No, for historical games, they're not. I've found this, but then when you go to, you can find some people are really helpful, and then you'll find some people are absolute arseholes. But I do find that people in the fantasy sort of genre, there's more Facebook groups for fantasy stuff that are bigger groups with lots more people in, and you can go on there and you can get a lot of praise and just ask questions, and people don't seem to mind. But you put something up. I remember when I first started the channel, right? I put a World War II bolt action figure, and I just put it on. I think it's one of my first bolt action videos. I put it in the bolt action group, and then you had loads of people saying like, "Oh, no, nice. It's nice to see someone using contrast for these." But then you got loads of people just started slating it, saying that's not the correct color, that's not the right shade, that's not this, that's not that. And I'm thinking, I did put in the little text at the top. This is my own interpretation. Doesn't mean it's 100% historically accurate. This tutorial is designed for people that don't have much time to paint, but want it to look roughly like it was. Yeah. But then you still have people going mental. Like, I was just like, do you not read the little chat bit?
No, Ken. Something similar happened to me on the bolt action group. When I kit bashed those Luftwaffe Field Division.
Yeah.
I posted some pictures, but I prefaced it with, "Look, these aren't accurate. They're kit bashed.
Yeah.
I'm aware the uniforms they're wearing aren't for the period that I game. They're not 100% accurate, but it's my interpretation of it. And it's how I want to look to differentiate from it on the battlefield."
Yeah.
But there's still a few people saying, "Oh no, that those uniforms have been phased out by 1944." And I was like,
read the comment.
You seem to be labouring under the misapprehension that I care what you're saying here, and it does annoy me sometimes. But I think if you say them as well, or like you said, if you start off a post that just says, this is my interpretation, they're my figures. I can paint them how I want. Yeah. What I don't want is to be hauled over historical coals over what colours I've decided to paint my 28mm toy soldiers.
Yeah, and you think if that's
my rant, that's my rant over for the night anyway.
but you think about it. You think about it, Steve. Imagine if that's the first time you're ever going to put something up on the internet. And all people are doing is slating you. It might just completely discourage you from carrying on.
Yeah.
Well, no, something similar happened to my friend who started his Russians. He just put up a picture on a Black Powder Facebook group, and he just hadn't used a green particularly that anyone else considered that was used, and that's put him off carrying on. He's just a bit like, well, yeah. Apart from obviously the other reasons, well, you got to paint bloody loads of them, but that made him not want to post anymore on there. It can be, yeah.
There should
brutal.
be.
Ultimately,
There
it's
should
your
be.
property, and you've paid money for it, so it's
Yeah.
up to you what you do.
There should be separate groups or rules for people if they want to be historically accurate. All right, create a historically accurate group and go and be part of that group. Just say this is a group for people who want to be 100% authentic. Then you can't argue it. But if you're just on a generic historical channel, what's the problem?
But I had a really good question to one of my kit bashing videos a couple of months back, and it was when I'd been making a couple of veteran German units. Now, what I do with the veteran ones is throw in a couple of allied weapons, like they've picked them up. So a couple have got like a Sten gun or a Lee Enfield, just to make it like they've picked something up.
Yeah, too right.
And what one guy left a comment and just said, I thought it was really interesting. He said, "Is how does kit bashing? Is it allowed through the rules?" Which I thought was a great question, because there's probably some neckbeard out there that would say, no, you can't use that. They would never issue with that weapon.
Yeah, it doesn't say that in the rules, though, does it?
No, I said to him,
it says rifle is a rifle. It says a rifle's a rifle.
Yeah. A submachine gun's a submachine gun. So I just thought it was an interesting question, because that had never crossed my mind that anyone would pick me up on using a different weapon. So no, really opened my eyes. That did.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. An MG34 is the same statistics technically as a Bren or a Bar.
Exactly.
Which is even weirder because it's only a 20-round mag.
And so I think that's what I like about bolt actions is a weapon is a weapon.
Yeah.
And it's why I do these, officers carrying, a PPSH or a Sten gun. I just like the idea of.
The Germans were mad for it. Germans were mad for it. They picked up anything they could bloody use. Anyone would. You're telling me if you're in the middle of combat and things like that, and you run out of ammunition, and there's a PPSH there with 3 drum magazines, you're not going to pick it up. Yeah. Oh, I can't touch that because it's Russian.
Yeah.
Jesus.
In 75 years' time, 100 years' time, somebody's going to complain about that in the rule system.
Jesus. No. It wouldn't surprise me, right? You could probably find. Do you know what? It wouldn't surprise me if for some reason in the Battle of Stalingrad someone was using a Japanese rifle. Just wouldn't surprise me if it came true. Do you know what I mean? Just the chances of it being used are very, very slim, but you never know.
No, I mean that book that I'm reading at the moment. Well, I sent a picture the other day. The one about Dash Reich.
Yeah.
There was an interesting story in there. There was a German officer, and his preferred weapon was a Sten gun.
Yeah.
Despite its limited range, he just preferred the Sten gun. I thought that was really, really interesting.
Just liked it. Yeah, why not?
He
said if you only have to visit a museum and you can see all the various uniform colours and even the same sort of regiments, the different colours that the uniforms were, and
let's not talk about Phil Gray.
Caught up in different eras of uniforms that they were equipped with, all that kind of stuff. So it's bollocks. It really is.
Yeah. I got the Epic Joey on my chat. He's just said that he's in the reenactment community and he can agree with a lot of that, because you get a lot of people who are sort of into historical snobby on details, particularly people who say that sword isn't curvy enough, the helmet isn't shiny enough, it's the wrong hilt. He just tells them that's great, the collar is a bit off here, I'd advise using this one next time. Just that kind of thing drives me nuts. I can't do it.
No.
I mean,
no.
It drives me nuts, especially in the profession I'm in as well. I have to listen to it like a lot.
Yeah.
I have people telling me what I'm doing and what I'm working on. They come to the edge of my sights and then start like telling me stuff about it, which is always helpful. it's like all my Napoleonics. I always say I just do enough to get across these are the old guard, these are Italian, these are, I don't know, 95th rifles. They're green. They're annoying. You know, that's
And Haley
you know,
uses
that's
them
it.
all the time on you.
Oh, yeah. And
Yeah, I think, but that's all you can do, right? I mean, to me, that's just, you know, I'm the same. I get absolutely frustrated with people who are like that all the time. But I do get absolutely pissed. You know, it's fine for us when we've been doing the hobby for a little while, you know, but it does piss me off when you see some youngsters or new people to the hobby that are getting put off and told off for doing things like that, because it's like, you know, just give over, give the kid a chance, you know, let him
Well, not
learn
even a
what he's
kid. It could
doing.
be a bloody adult. You know, they could be telling anyone.
Yeah, it's true.
It's just, you know, it's just like
Come to the hobby. It's one of the things that struck me with that whole video series. Is I can't remember. Spud was saying the other night on the stream, something like 75, 80 videos have been done on that, and it's just gone far and wide. It's really interesting to see a lot of, you know, newer tubers who are, you know, not long into the hobby, quite young guys generally. It's almost all guys, which is a bit of a shame, but you
yes,
know, very young kids getting involved with it. And it's
yes.
so nice to see. And if you go around conventions, and when they were happening anyway, you'd see so many more younger kids getting involved in the historical hobby. You know, I remember 20 years ago or something, you know, talking with people and thinking, Christ, you know, look around this hall, everyone's the same age, and you know, in 20 years, 30 years time, this hobby's going to be dead because there's nobody left.
There's no
But now you look
generation.
at it,
Yeah.
there's no through, which is fantastic. So then we don't want to be discouraging them by going on about,
No.
oh, your
no.
buttons are the wrong color, your belts are the wrong way, and oh, all
No.
wrong. You know, it's like, go on,
We got
encourage them.
we got Steve Reese here on my chat. He's saying this is why he likes 6mm naps so much because you can't button count.
Someone will try. They'll try. I had somebody on one of my videos, one of the first videos I did where I painted the old guard, complain that I didn't paint the brass plate on the bottom of the musket, and I didn't know what he was talking about. So
'Cause
I
you
had to
couldn't be
actually go and
arsed.
find like an actual, you know, oil painting of an old guard, you know, like a, you know, to actually see what he was talking about, because I didn't have a clue. But like you said at the start of the video, I was like, this is what I do to get them on the table quickly. You know, I appreciate that I could do that, but I don't.
Can't be
want
bothered. No, can't be bothered. It's like, yeah, that's why I use contrast paints, because I can't be bothered. But yeah, no, he's Steve's also said he fought in Angola in the 80s and used AKs when he had to. So there you go.
There you go. Well, who wouldn't? It's a very reliable machine, isn't it?
Mm.
Anyway, yeah, enough of the ranting. Don't want to piss people off, but yeah.
No, you're not pissing them off. I love a good rant. This feels great. I personally think people tune in just to hear us rant. You know, I reckon they do. Probably like.
I don't know. I've got 5 viewers in the time when I've just had that rant. So there you go.
How many?
5.
Oh no. Yeah.
On -3 now. No, not quite.
Yeah, they've all come to
No,
mind
I mean,
on.
a lot of people saying in the chat about, you know, using, you know, people using different weapons, and that's just been part of history, right? Isn't it?
Yeah.
When you're in the war and you're fighting, I mean, you pick up what you need and you use what you need.
It makes sense, and it's you also get the sort of people who you know would pretend to like be like proper 100% clued up on it, but actually not know their facts 100% as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those sort of
Oh,
people that,
plenty of those.
like, if you are an expert in a field or something like that, and someone comes up to you talking about someone, you know someone's talking utter bullshit, but they're just absolutely chatting it, and that could be annoying as well. It's just, I don't know. That's what I found with historicals, dude, when I started playing it and like reading stuff, because obviously I came from the fantasy background and stuff, and the 40k stuff. But that was my biggest concern, was people being all shitty, because me and Liam were like, oh, we got to play late war or early war, we can't mix. And then and we were like, why can't we mix? Because we saw a bolt action post saying you either play late war or early war. So
Right.
because we didn't know, we were brand new to it and didn't have a clue. So we went late war, and then we realised when we played, actually, we could have chosen the armies we actually wanted straight off the bat, which was quite annoying. But there you go.
You know, it's like
Leslie's.
Sorry, Leslie, go on.
No. Sorry, no, mine wasn't raised out. Leslie's just trying to incite Haley to encourage my children to beat me at games. That already happened.
Do they give you as much grief as she does? I think that's the funniest bit.
Yeah, I mean, my daughter just says, "Daddy, did I beat you?" Yes. Did I really beat you? Yes. Yes, you did. But did I take all your cupcakes? Yes. Yes, you did. Thank you. Might only be a cupcake, but it's.
Mate, I hate to say this to you, Martin, but you did it to yourself, bud.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what,
I know.
I'll tell you what, I'm jealous as anything because you have a wife that plays fucking games with you. You lucky
it's
bastard.
like Dom said, get any game. I don't mind losing. I just like playing games.
Yeah, exactly.
And if we can have I mean, I was really.
Unless
Just going back to what Dom said a minute ago, actually, there was someone on one of my last Black Powder videos said that they were a 40k player and they've watched this and they're now really interested in historicals and they've only ever really played 40k, but now they've ordered like the starter set for Black Powder. It's like, great, brilliant, try something else. Just do what you want with it. You know, there's so many games out there.
Enjoy it.
I think it is one of those things, isn't it? I mean, I think there are so many things. There's so many rules. There's systems. There's so many different periods to play in historical. I really just got to have a crack at it.
Well, that's the bastard though, isn't it, Dom? That is the crock, isn't it? There's so many different things to do. You're like so many different projects always on the go.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You can never have too many projects, mate. You know that.
No. I've only just noticed though, Martin's actually really has tidied up all that space, hasn't he? You haven't got any figures out. I've only just noticed.
I've got some. I've got 24 Prussians, 30 odd Wars of the Roses. But yeah, I had to have it was getting a bit silly. Yeah, I packed away over 100 medieval miniatures and a whole bunch of other bits. So yeah, they've got a new home now.
Sorry, Dom, I butted in on you.
See Leslie's question. He was saying, we sort of covered a lot of this in those videos, but he was asking what got you started making videos and what kit do you use to make videos with, and has video making almost become a hobby in its own right? What do you reckon, Steve?
I started. I think I covered this in my I'm a Wargamer video. The reason I have a YouTube channel is because I finish things. It's like a sort of online painting blog for me. Before I started the channel, I was getting a few things done, but I had such a poor attention span. I was jumping all over the place. I never actually finished anything. But since making videos and engaging with people, and people want to see the mainly the German bolt action stuff that I do, I just paint a lot more. But I'm still using the same equipment that I've used from the very first day. It's a Logitech C920 webcam, just a clip-on microphone. The only thing I've changed is editing software. Because I can never really find the one that I like. I use two at the moment because one's got better effects, and then the other one's a bit more reliable. So it kind of depends on what kind of video I'm making. I jump between the two. But I'm not really one for for splash now. But yeah, I definitely agree. It has become a hobby in itself, video editing and just making videos. It's sort of an addition to the wargaming and the painting. Hope that makes sense.
Definitely.
No, I agree. It does become, we've talked about this, Ken, haven't we? But it's like you're always trying to think about what you're going to do next as a video, and you kind of feel, almost like you owe a video to people to watch, and so you have to sort of think, oh God, I haven't done a video this week. What can I do? And what can I think of? What's going to be interesting and entertaining? And some weeks it's really easy. Some weeks I find myself almost trying to stop myself with videos because there's so much stuff to do.
Yeah.
And other weeks
It's dead.
oh my God, I don't know what to do.
What-
And it is weird,
Mm.
but it is definitely a hobby in its own right. But I don't know. What do you film on, Martin?
I use my phone, but I've got a really, really powerful camera on my phone, which just shoots really well. And that's what I've always done because I haven't ever. I'm not doing any big wide shots or anything like that, and it's got a really, really good macro on it, and that's it. I mean, I might one day look at getting something a bit better, but I just use that. I use the editing software I use is Filmora because that's reliable and good. I've always used that because I already had it. But yeah, I'd say it's definitely become a hobby in itself. I do a bit like you guys just said. I sit there thinking, what kind of video should I do? Should I do a painting tutorial or shall I do a general update? I try and do a general update once a month.
Yeah, I like
on
you
what
do.
I've done.
I do like
But-
you do that. A lot of people seem to like those because you do get a lot of views on those. A lot of people do tune in for your updates.
Yeah.
Um,
So I do stuff like that, but then of course I always wanted to do battle reports. That was my, one of the reasons I started it. I wanted to do battle reports for games that I didn't think got enough attention, basically.
yeah.
Um,
I'm not gonna lie, Martin.
Yeah.
I'm gonna steal your battle report format because it is bloody good how you do it.
that's all right. You can just put like a little attributation at the bottom. Go, thanks, Martin.
Yeah, the thing is, it works really well with black powder because obviously
Yeah.
you do all your moving, but you both do it all simultaneously, don't you? And then you do all your shooting. So you do the speeding up of your movement, don't you? And just quickly go over what you've done, but you can see where you've moved in a Napoleonic game.
Yeah, if I played it out, the videos it'd just be too long. And I suppose if there was anything really important that happened in that phase, I'd probably slow it down and then just go over it. But so far, it's never really come up.
See, it's weird because I asked my community on that community tab, do you want the videos to be shorter? Because I thought people might want them short because my videos are quite long for my bolt action battle reports, like 3 hours, some of them. And people said no, they want to keep them long. I don't get it.
Feedback I get.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
Maybe they watch it in sections. Maybe it's a sectional
Well, I think
watch.
they tend to put videoing or doing something else, and it'll just be on playing. I mean, that's what I hear for mine.
Yeah.
Because mine are 2-hour-long battle reports, and that's edited. I'll try and edit it down. Even that, I won't be quite as ruthless, tight as you do with yours, Martin. But yeah, I get feedback all the time. It's great because I can put it on while I'm painting and have it in the background. And
same with this show, isn't it? Same with this show. A lot of people listen to this show while they paint, I've been told.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But-
Paul's just said he's banged out 7-year mounted Prussian officer, including cleanup and glue during the chat. So, yeah, I think it's either that or he's either painting or he's doing something very sexual. I'm not quite sure what.
No,
I have to say the comment got held for review because of the phrase "banged out."
oh dear, it was quite funny. It is pretty funny, but yeah, no, it's I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, because Ken, you use a camera, don't you?
Yeah, I use a video camera because I was using my phone originally, but when I started doing battle reports, obviously with phones, the legal requirement is because they can't class them as camcorders because they have to pay tax or stuff on them, right? So they have to cut out every 10 minutes, so 10-minute segments. And that was the problem I had, my phone just kept cutting out every 10 minutes. So I bought a camcorder just to specifically film battle reports. But if I'm doing stuff on the desk, I'll tend to I've got to admit, I have invested in this microphone. I'm not going to lie, I did invest in that mic, and it is a very good mic. for like audio stuff when I do my voiceovers. It's quite well. I think it's cheap. It's like 80 quid, but for like a budget microphone, it gives you really crisp audio. But it's handy as well when we go to shows, because that's why I bought it originally, was to go to Salute, and I was going to do some interviews with people and stuff like that, and it records, but you can also plug it in USB and use it as a audio mic as well. But yeah, I've got lights as well. I just enjoy it as well. It's another hobby, isn't it? It's another little pastime.
Yeah.
I've got to admit, sometimes it can be a real drag to actually have to edit something. But it's like with anything, sometimes anything can be a drag, really. You just don't feel like doing it because it happens, doesn't it? People just go off of filming things or doing stuff, and sometimes you just want to sit there and just play a video game.
Yeah,
I was just thinking, Ken, you were saying like,
sorry, carry on.
Sorry, no, I was just saying, you say you're talking about the video format, because obviously I whiz it through the orders phase and all of that, but how would you do that with bolt action anyway? Because you're drawing the dice at random every now and then.
That's exactly what I just thought.
What? Yeah,
it would work with 40K.
So when I did the Dead Man's Hand reports, because it's random activation rather than a I go, a big I go you go system, it wouldn't work. So I had to film everything. There was nothing to speed up because it's only games where you have those certain phases set out.
40K would work.
That format will work.
40K would work really well if you played a game of 40K.
If it's 40K, I just whiz it through the whole thing.
Yeah. Lord of the Rings. There you go, Lord of the Rings. It worked for Lord of the Rings, wouldn't it?
Yeah, no, I might do. I'm trying to convince Haley to play that, but I haven't succeeded yet.
It's absolutely amazing.
Those guys from Norway that do the bolt action stuff, I forget what they're called now, but they do bolt action, and they speed it up they'll draw the dice and then they'll cut away. He'll say I'm going to move, and they'll move one figure to show where they were going to move things, and then they'll stop the video, and then they'll obviously move the rest, then they'll restart it.
Yeah, this is the problem as well. People don't realise when we play a game, and like when you play a game, where we played a game the other night, Dom, it's not like me and you just playing a game without filming. When you're filming a game, you're constantly stopping, so we're not getting a complete flow of a game all the time. We're stopped because we're talking about something we might want to mention in a clip, or you might want to talk about and stuff like that. So we're not getting the same experience that everyone else is getting. So sometimes it's nice when we don't film and just have a normal game. I've got to admit that sometimes that is nice when I don't film occasionally. It's like there's been a few bolt action games in the past where I've not filmed with Liam. It's not been nice just to play it through and not have to think about what we're saying or be so politically correct.
What I loved with the battle reports, the reason why I started doing them was I wanted to actually catch all the banter and the fun that went on around the table, because that's, for me, that's part of the hobby. That's what I really enjoy as much as I do the game. Yeah, jokes and little digs you have with your mates, and and all that kind of stuff. And so when I'm recording, I want to record all of that, and I want all that to go on. It does make the videos bloody long, and it does make the editing an absolute nightmare, because then I'm trying to chop bits out without losing too much of that feel of it.
Yeah.
But still keep some of it there. That said, there are, like you say, there are some things that are talked about in those games where you kind of think, I better not show that.
This is
but it also means then I watch the entire game. You can't just take chunks.
No.
You have to, literally, I watch every game back again. Sometimes a couple of times in editing alone,
to make sure something's not slipped through, like addresses and bits and bobs like that. You might mention something that you don't want the wider world to know about, and it's like, I know exactly what you mean. And when you say it, you're like, bollocks, because you realise you try and note what time it is.
Yeah. Shit, I'm gonna have to cut that out. Oh bugger! And that was a really good moment. It's like, oh damn.
I've missed so many questions.
Oh god. Do you want to go through your questions?
I'm just having a look. I'm just going.
I'll just do
Someone
one.
said, "What do?"
Oh, go on.
Huh?
I was just gonna
Someone
say.
said, "What do I use for Wars of the Roses?" I use Hail Caesar. What's the largest game we've ever played? Model count and table size. If it's for like a personal game, I assume.
6x4. Imperial Guard. I had, I think, 300 models on the table. Yeah.
Dom.
Mine was that one at Salute we just talked about with the
Yeah.
Macedonians and the ancient Indians. It was a monumentally big game on a huge table. So yeah. Although I have refought the Battle of Waterloo, not with my figures, but going around to a club that put one on in one of these great big church halls where you had the entire church hall filled with 28 mil.
Oh, I just thought of something really cool. Oh my god, I've just thought of something we could all do.
Oh no.
Oh dear.
What?
Oh dear. Oh dear. In two, we should agree. We should agree in 2 years' time. We should all take part and we should do a 6 mil reenactment of the Battle of Waterloo.
Oh. Can't we do Gettysburg instead? Because it's such a different. I don't want to repaint loads of fucking Napoleonics.
Yeah, we could do. Yeah, actually, do. Actually, do you know what? Gettysburg. That is a good idea in 6 mil because I've got two sides coming.
Well, that's all right. You've got it covered then, ain't you?
Nah, it's not big enough. You need more models than that. We could do it man for man in 6 mil.
Man. Oh my god.
Could each buy the £100 set.
What about you, Steve? What's the biggest game?
Biggest game was we had a ridiculously large game of second edition 40k back in the day. It was the Imperium, so we had a mix of Imperial Guard and Space Marines against a Tyrannid Genestealer horde, and we played it on the table was must have been it was the biggest table in our games club, so it would have been 8 by 4, 8 by 6, but it was completely insane. It looked sort of awesome, but actually trying to control it was just beyond the pale, because it just took ages to play. It was just ridiculous. But yeah, it looked good, but I wouldn't be doing that these days, I can tell you that.
No. See, I've just done 8 by 6 with my Napoleonics, so that's over 1,000 individual models now.
It's pretty
like that.
Pretty big.
Ouch. Something like that, yeah.
That's right.
That's the last game we played, yeah.
That's right. You can knock that out in 6 mil in about 10 minutes.
Yep.
Jeez.
Let's see what else.
I just said in my chat that Ken's got. Forgive us. Ken's got a 6 mil problem at the moment.
6 mil.
Actually, Richard Smith just asked a question about that whole thing about rewatching games back when you're editing. Does it improve your tactics? And wonder about how things could have gone differently. It's weird. I don't really look at it in that way.
Do I?
You're looking at the game just for the laugh, really. I can't say I necessarily learn anything from it, other than sometimes I think, "Oh shit, I should have done X, Y,
Yeah.
There was a game I played. Oh, the Oathmark one. I think when I was looking back at that one, there was a bit in it, and I thought, why didn't I charge that unit into that unit? I should have done, you idiot. But I'll probably forget about that next time we play anyway, so it's fine.
Yeah.
So no, I don't think I learned from anything.
No, I don't really, in all honesty, with it. It's too long to watch it back twice and concentrate on every single second. It's a nightmare sometimes, isn't it? That's 6 hours, and then the bugger's got to upload. My God, that takes ages. That video I did for the Kingdom Come Deliverance, that was 28 gig that size because it was in 4K. So it took like 3.5 hours to upload, but then it took 12 hours to process because once it's uploaded.
Did you not stream it live?
No, I recorded it.
Oh, I thought you were.
No. I recorded it through NVIDIA GeForce. Because YouTube's being a bit funny at the minute. It's not recommending my videos very much because I'm doing a lot of live streams and not actual physical uploads. So I need to physically upload stuff as well. can be a bit funny sometimes. Likes you to be regular, doesn't it?
There we got Super Spicy Spud is in the house from Chilling War Games.
Hello,
Just
Spud.
Spud.
How do?
How do? You alright?
There we go. The master
sweet.
in the house.
I'm
So
thinking.
what else you got, Martin? There were some other questions you missed.
I had some Richard Smith. Well, Richard Smith was saying as well that we were talking about back when we talked about the 100 Years' War, saying that we had a yeoman class between the nobility and the peasants, which the archers were recruited from, whereas the French all wanted to be knights in fancy armor. And also the French work off the old school. They were more chivalric. They had this idea of being a knight, whereas we were just quite happy to shoot them at range and then stab them when they're on the floor. So, which I think does play a part. Tom the Wargamer said he did 40k for a little bit, then switched to historicals. Good.
Good man.
You've seen.
What else we got here? Dragons for All says, well, I think we've answered some lights, but I think I've just worked out who it is. I think that's my brother-in-law. I think he's just said, have any of you got into a painting slump? I think we've answered this, or you guys did before. Have you ever got into a painting slump that you didn't want to paint anymore, and how did you get out of it?
Oh yeah, I've done a whole video on that.
Yeah, I just vary things basically, or I just take a week off and then recharge.
It's hard on on YouTube when you set yourself a schedule, but you don't set yourself a schedule, do you, Martin? That's the good thing.
No.
Yes, I'm trying to
like
work.
I said, when it's like work, I don't want to do it.
No.
That's the whole thing. You just variety is all you need, and then keep swapping it and changing it and do different things.
What the hell are these?
I mean, apart from Steve, swaps between German.
Speaking of variety, I have thoroughly enjoyed painting these War Machine figures tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure. It really has. It's just such a change from what I'd normally paint. And I've painted Asphyxius, but I've also painted one of my undead pirates as well. And it's just been really nice. I'm not batch painting. Just painting for the joy of painting, really.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it, Steve, when you do that?
They look nice.
Jesus.
I've no idea what they're for, but they do look very, very nice.
Yeah.
We'll have to sort out a game, Steve. I'll have to actually dig the rest of mine out.
Digging these out last night, because I only played War Machine for about a year, but I have such fond memories of playing it. Though it was just, I'd go around my mate Pete's house every Saturday afternoon, and we'd just have 3 or 4 games. It was always Crix versus Menoth. Then his cousin Andy, he had Kador. We just used to just game after game. It was so quick and violently entertaining. That's what I love about it.
That's always good.
I love that. Paul Richardson said he's seen a 1-to-1 scale battle of Taunton in 6mm, which was awesome. Oh my God.
Jesus.
If I was going to do a 1-to-1,
60,000.
yeah. If I was going to do 1-to-1 scale of anything, it would be in 6mm or 2mm. But yeah, no. Does that come on, guys? Honestly, does that not fascinate you to think to do it in a 1-to-1 scale? When that, if you had the models there, would you not think? Would you rather play it in a 1-to-1 scale in 6mm or like a battalion sort of setup in 28?
I think for me, I'd have to make. It would force me down the road to go for really, really accurate rule system.
Yeah, you'd have to play it with an accurate rule system, wouldn't you?
You couldn't just play the sort of I'll roll a dice and it's da 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 da. It'd have to be really accurate rule system, which would make the game really complicated and very slow. But yeah, there is a certain thing about fighting that sort of scale. Definitely, it'd be quite interesting to do.
Yeah. No, that's it, isn't it?
Oh dear.
You can understand the campaign. Imagine doing a 1-to-1, campaign of the American Civil War in 6mm. Imagine that. Or if you did the Napoleonics in 6mm, 1-to-1 Napoleon when he goes to invade Russia, and then you work back from there.
Yeah.
You couldn't do it, could you? I mean, the thing is, it'd be so hard to do.
That'd be so cool.
I just think, I don't know, would it be, I don't know, would it add anything more to the game than doing it as a 1-400 or whatever it is, 1-20 figure? I don't know.
I think it's just that sheer size, isn't it? That you can just see so many models, can't you?
True, there is that, and there is something definitely exciting about seeing huge numbers of figures laid out on the table.
Especially knowing you painted them all as well.
If I'd had to paint them all, I don't know. If I can make someone else paint them for me. Tom, the Wargamers just said that it would just take so much time to move everything. You'd need, you need
at least 2 or 3 kegs of beer, at least, and a draft tap installed, and plenty of food and Pizza Hut on speed dial.
But you see, Dom, you've got the Barons War, and you could do things like that and Dark Age stuff a lot easier at 1-to-1 because Lord's Retowins were not massive. They would only supply like 100 archers and 20 men at arms, so you could quite easily do that Barons War kind of stuff at 1-to-1.
It's very true. It's very true. You could, and that actually, it's funny, isn't it? That never comes to mind doing that kind of thing, but it'd be very easy to do it because that genuinely would mix quite well as a 1-to-1, one figure and kind of game. And I guess you could do any kind of skirmish game that way.
Yeah, bolt action's 1-to-1, isn't it?
Battles, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm talking like mass battles. Yeah. See, I still like that. I still like the sound of that rule set that Martin's got for the World War II stuff, the little skirmish 5-man aside.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I'm going to be doing a battle report for that soon, and sort of an overview for it.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Nice.
I think what'll be interesting in what one? Imagine Battle of Kursk 1-to-1.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. Oh no, that'd be fun, wouldn't it?
Tanks.
Yeah, that'd be true. That would be a lot of fun.
That.
All those bases.
I'm sorry. I don't know. Years ago, I used to do, and that was fun. That was really good fun. You could do some massive battles of tanks.
Yeah. Well, look at this. Look at the ship stuff as well, isn't it? The Victory at Seas, that's coming out. That's gonna be 1-to-1, isn't it? Planes are 1-to-1, but I'm talking about your mass infantry and things like that. Even this 100 Years War stuff. Technically, I guess you could say that it's 1-to-1 if I've got, say, I'd need what, depending really, doesn't it? Because each lord took different amounts of archers and took different amounts of men at arms, but you could look up historically and see how many roughly they took, couldn't you? So if he only took 60 archers and 20 men at arms, or vice versa, you could do it in that. But there's a lot of men. There's a lot of men, but you wouldn't be able to do any of the big battles.
Sorry, one thing I think would be great fun to do. Think about what Martin was saying about retinues and that sort of thing, but doing 1-to-1, almost like a campaign where you could build the character. So you could name each of the figures, each of the men individually, and they could have a sort of ongoing sort of history of their own sorts. The only problem is half the rules would wipe out after the first battle, and you'd have half the warband was taken down, and they'd be dead. But it's quite. I love that idea of having that sort of running history of a figure or a unit, or kind of bit like we were doing, Ken, with the Oathmark stuff, and talking about having regiments that build their sort of renowned and name for what they've done in different battles.
Oh, definitely, yeah, and you can add stuff to like the unit, couldn't you? Like they like your orcs, if they did something really good, I could give you a dwarf head that they could put on there, like one of their pikes or something like that, just to just to note the unit. But I think you could do that with that skirmish, that game, Martin, that German, that World War II one.
Yeah, you could definitely. But I mean, because I think I worked out that I think a 750 point army is about 10 men in a support, or about 5 men in a support if they're veteran.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely you'd definitely be 1-to-1 there. I think the idea is as soon as you introduce tanks, you need to be afraid, very afraid, because they'll just wipe the floor with stuff.
Yeah. I'll tell you what though,
I
but
do like that sort of game, don't you? Because that's when you can start to build a, you know, you get your figures that you've played in different games and they've done something really funny, something very heroic or something, and you get to really like that particular figure, even the one that happened to dive in through a window and mow down 3 defenders before they could even react or something like that. Those sort of skirmish games
Yeah.
where those sort of things happen.
See, that's what I liked about Necromunda in the 90s.
Yeah.
You had your gang of 9 or 10 people, and they'd all take on characters and personalities of their own, and you'd end up hating certain models on your opponent's gangs because you knew they were armed to the teeth, and you sod the mission. I'm going to get that model, and he's not making it off this battlefield.
yeah.
So I used to enjoy that element, and the good thing was that I'd have like injuries, so they'd lose fingers, and their ballistic skill and the weapon skill would go down, or their movement would be limited. They'd lose an eye. It was just a really good rule set. And when we used to have 7-8 different players at the same time, fighting over this sect of the Underhive. And my mate used to knock up a weekly newsletter on some kind of rudimentary 90s word processing program. But it was good fun, and that for me, that's the best narrative gaming I have ever played with Necromunda, because it really did take on sort of a life of its own. It was just so much fun to play.
That's another.
Just brings another level to the game.
Yeah, it does. That's another question. Is do you obviously we're going to play our campaign with Oathmark. Would you rather? The question is, would you rather play loads of campaigns? So like you had a campaign for Oathmark, you had a campaign for ACW, a campaign for Bolt Action. Would you rather do lots of campaigns or individual games? So if you play with the same person, would you rather keep a load of campaigns going, or would you rather have individuals? I'm steering more towards the campaign side of thing, really. If I was to think about it. What does everyone else think?
I love campaigns. I think those sort of ongoing narrative battles or link battles, narratives, and that sort of thing. Campaigns generally are great fun. The only issue I'd say with them is that when things start going bad, they can be a bit tedious. Because if you're losing or you're on a roll of defeats, it can be a bit tedious.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd want to only play campaigns.
Yeah.
But certainly great fun. I think anything gives a bit more, background or justification for the games is good in my book.
Yeah, definitely.
Don't know what the rest of you think.
I don't know. I mean, I do like one-off games, but me and my regular opponent Ian, where once the new Bolt Action book comes out for the Pacific in September, hopefully we'll be in a position to get a few more games of Bolt Action in it than we had this year. But we what we want to do is run through an entire Bolt Action book, the campaign using Marines and Japanese.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be pretty cool to do.
I've always wanted to do that. We just never had the chance.
Yeah.
It's just finding the chance to keep moving through the book, isn't it? It's just a shame, really. Sometimes you feel like if you had the whole weekend, so like you could get together the whole weekend, you could bash through so many games, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Old to be young and have no responsibilities.
To be young.
to be 19 and not have to worry. That'd be nice.
I love it.
Then you get a different problem. Your mum says, "No, you're not having your mate round all weekend and staying around till 3 a.m. playing war games."
I told you before, the only solution, guys, is to become a professional war gamer, and that's what.
Oh, my missus already said she's going to leave me if I do that. So. I go, so what if I did YouTube full time? She goes, well, you wouldn't be with me, would you? I was like, all right. I'm only joking. Oh dear. But Do you guys?
Some point,
Do you got?
AWI would be a good one for 1-to-1.
Yeah, yeah.
I would be very good.
Well, that gate. Well, bloody muskets and tomahawks, Dom. That's cracking
Yeah,
for
that
one.
sort of is there,
That's
isn't it?
cracking.
It could very, I mean,
Yeah, of course
yeah.
you could. You could select a unit in that you want to. You know that bloody provincial unit. Those muskets, mate. They're gonna get a name.
British
Bloody
killers.
yeah, they're cracking. They were. Old yeah.
Well, I'm going to call. Yeah. Has anyone tried? Actually, Paul just asked this question. Anyone tried any of the Lardy campaigns for sharp practice?
No.
I haven't actually. Honestly, haven't.
No.
I should. Because I bet they'd be quite fun. Because they're so good at their narrative games.
Yeah. I tell you what. Have you guys ever thought about gaming solo? So like trying to play a game of something solo? Because I keep wanting to try something solo, and I just can't figure out how I'm going to play myself like properly and take it very seriously.
Yeah. Back at the start of lockdown, I did a video, and it was a solo game of Firefight.
Right.
Just five guys on each side, and the way I played it was I thought of it as an old school Commando comic book.
Yeah.
Rather than a game of just rolling dice, I was trying to make it as narrative and as exciting and as I could. So that's the way I went about it. I mean, I don't think it'd work if it was to play Boltax against myself, a full-on 1,000-point game. I don't think it'd work. But when you've only got five men on each side, it worked quite well, and I really enjoy playing it. I've just never got around to doing the second part of the campaign I was building.
Yeah, because there are people that have made bolt action solo rules.
Yeah.
And it's appealed to me, but again, I need to settle the board and I need to try it. Really, I need to give it a go because obviously I play the Allies and I'd be trying to defeat the Germans, but then maybe that's the way I play my campaign. Like I get through a campaign book.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Maybe that's the way to actually give it a go because just the Germans are the enemy all the time, and if I lose, I lose. which would be sad.
Solo really hard, only because my opponent cheats all the time. But Leslie makes the point, and I think I agree with him entirely. Part of the problem is, I think, is that it's a bit flat without that company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
That's what I enjoy. I'd almost rather doing it on Zoom or over Discourse or something, rather than doing solo. Although I did see, I think it was on a Facebook page, I think it was probably Solo Wargames Facebook page, they had a really clever sort of flowchart of how units should react in a given situation, which I thought was really clever because, in all seriousness, when I played solos years ago, I haven't played them for many, many years, but when you played them, you have a sort of almost innate bias.
Yeah, 100%.
And this system was quite good because it was like, can you see the enemy? No, well, do this. Are you within 12 inches of the enemy? Then do that. And it sort of took all that out of it.
So you didn't have to make the decision; it made it for you.
Made it all for you. Because I've seen people play bolt action and they've rolled the dice for the unit. So, the action dice. So you roll it. And you could modify that because in certain situations it makes no sense for somebody to go into rally or go down. But at least it gave some variety to how you would play the game. So you pull the bag, it's your unit, you roll it, and you go, okay, well that's fire. Okay, well I'll fire then. What's the closest target? That target fired. Sorted. Next time it's move and advance or run or what have you.
I think that would work for like your Napoleonic and AWI stuff where you got ranks shooting each other and stuff like that. Especially for Napoleonics, I think that would work. As solo rules, I think in mass battles, I think it would work quite well. That's what I mean. I just want a mass battle of something. I've never played one. I've never played a mass battle. It's always been skirmish. So I'd love like a massive game of something. It's got to be done. That's what I mean. That's why, Martin, your black powder stuff, mate. It just gets me. My juices flowing. Like,
yeah,
oh.
we'll sort out you coming down here, and then we'll have a big old game.
He goes down, but I got to go up. I've got to go to Cambridge.
Oh yeah, yeah. Cambridge isn't. I can't believe I've actually got people who are further south. Well, you're not just further south; you're a long way south.
I'm
Whereas
Southampton.
everyone else I know.
I'm
Well, yeah,
south.
you can't really get much more.
Do you know what? I'll tell you what I did think of the other day, though. I'll tell you what I did think of the other day, right? I was listening to my audiobook about Agincourt, and I was coming over the hill, and I could see the Isle of Wight, and I could see the Solent. And just at that point, they were embarking and leaving from the Solent, and the ships, and all I got in my head was just imagining all this armada of tall ships going across to France. And that's where they were in proper historical time in the 1400s. And I was like, wow, that's pretty fucking intense. They couldn't have timed that better. Do you know what I mean? So it's quite nice living down here, especially with historical stuff, because there is a lot down here. It's Southwick House as well last week, where Eisenhower, Churchill were on at D-Day. That's where I went and worked. That's where their offices were. That's where I had to go for work, was Southwick House. So I got
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was, especially when you go in the planning room. That was pretty intense to know that they were in there on D-Day. It's pretty insane.
Like it.
Oh yes. I interrupted you again, Dom.
Dear.
It's been. I think we've all had a bit of a nightmare tonight, and we were all a bit shattered. All just tired, aren't we?
Yeah. A very long week.
Yeah.
It's been a very week for a Monday.
And it's Monday, yeah.
And it's. Well, I've got a lot of painting done. What did you get done tonight?
So there you go.
What did you get done, Dom?
What have I got? I've largely block coloured all these rusts, so I just need to do a bit more of the detail work on them and then give them a wash. What have you.
Nice.
I'm quite happy. Progressing along nicely.
Yeah. Oh, that's good then. What about you, Steve? What did you get done? You do your War Machine stuff?
This.
Oh, very nice, mate.
It's really. It's nice.
What I've done is I wanted some grimness on the base, so I found a bunch of plastic Skaven tails.
Yeah.
And painted them pink. And they look like grim-looking tentacles coming out of this rock.
Yeah.
So yeah, almost finished that, and I've been painting me. You can see that undead zombie
Nice.
pirate.
Nice.
With a skull and crossbones hat on. So no, I'm really enjoying. This is such a change for me from painting bolt action. It's really, really enjoyable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Definitely. What about you, mine?
I've done best part of 6 horses for my heavy cavalry, and then the riders as well. And just because I had them here, I finished just for some objectives, some little piggies for
Nice.
I don't know, any kind of game.
Oh yeah, nice.
So,
Just done, didn't they? Yeah.
just cause.
That's
So,
it.
yeah, it'd be pretty good.
I've managed to. Yeah, so good. I've managed to block most of the 100 Years Wars archers. I got to a point at about quarter 2, and I just couldn't be bothered anymore to do any more painting. But I've got to do flesh, a bit of metal. No, I just couldn't. No, there's so many. I've got like how many guys? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20, 23 guys here, and seeing as when I got home from work, they were all grey. So I've now got a lot of colour on them. So they should be done hopefully within the week. And I've still got these 2 bloody Sharky and Wormtail to do. So I'm going to do them next, and then I can pick something else out of the box. But then I've got then I've got friggin' these, haven't I? Bloody Agincourt Knights Cavalry, which I'm going to do all English. Just a shame there isn't a way for me to mount all of them as archers, because that would be pretty awesome. But I don't know what the hell Caesar rules are like for that. They're probably just dismount and then they become a block anyway. So, but yeah. Oh, excuse me. Oh dear. But yeah, no.
end it then, I think, folks, because we are. Oh, blimey, 6 minutes past.
Yeah. Well, yeah, guys. Well, thanks. Well, thanks anyway for watching. Sorry, the episode was a bit slower than our usual week. Just recovering after that heat last week, but we shall all be back. We're all available next Monday.
Yep.
Aye.
Yeah, cool. We'll all be back next Monday. We'll see you again very soon, and bye bye for now.
Bye bye.
Bye, folks. See you later.